Seventh Planet Broadcasting, Headlines with a Brain, with your host, Gerald Clark. Greetings all, this is Gerald Clark with Seventh Planet Broadcasting, Headlines with a Brain. It's November 12th, 2019. Today I want to talk to you about Moloch, believe it or not. And what triggered it all, I saw in the news that with the Vatican's approval that a Canaanite idol, Moloch, was put on display in Rome. There's a little Leviticus quote, "Do not allow any of your offspring to be offered up to Moloch, and do not profane the name of your God. I am Hashem." Leviticus 18:21. By the way, while we're there, just real quick, let's go to the Bible Gateway and look at some references to Moloch in the Bible. Okay, and then I'll come back to this article. Okay, so I think I already pulled these up for you. So here in Amos 5:26 from the King James Version of the Bible, okay, but you have borne the tabernacle of your Moloch and Chian, your images, the star of your God, which ye made to yourselves, okay. And then, yea, you took up the tabernacle and the star of your God, Remphan. I wonder if that's another name for Marduk. Figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. Anyway, if you look through, similarly, Yahweh Enlil's arch rival in Babylon was none other than Baal. So if you look at Baal, you'll see there's very similar references to how he talks about Moloch and Baal. So let's see if there's a good one here. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here where Yahweh, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord and the servants of Balaam, okay? And they forsook the Lord, served Baal and Astaroth, okay? I looked at some of these names of who the different gods were, and and you can look into this, okay? Anyway, so let's go back to this one. All right, so here's Moloch. Crazy symbology all over the being. And it gets displayed different ways in different times. We'll look at that. Look at the hands, on the arms, all the different symbology and such. It's weird, the three eyes here. I don't know where this came from, but the horns are kind of a bull symbol. But this being, with whatever this is, this almost looks like a Draco with wings mixed with a bull. It's really bizarre. Okay, the pagan Canaanite idol required sacrifice, so it's very unpopular that they put it at the entrance of the Roman Colosseum. That was supposed to be a place where the Christians that were martyred went to visit in front of Rome, okay? Let's see. Yeah, let's see if there's any better pictures. Now, anyway, also on the legs, notice all the symbology on the legs. And the thing is not that big, and I thought this was an original Canaanite artifact, but it turns out it's a reproduction, and it could have been a reproduction from a movie set, we're not sure. But either way, the Vatican gave approval to stick this thing right in the entranceway to the Colosseum, which has a lot of people in Rome actually quite upset. Let's go look at some ancient historical pictures of Moloch. There's other names that show up that I think of Moloch as, and actually when you go way back in time, this is the one I think of. This is the altar of Moloch. You can see these Canaanites or Phoenicians, whichever ones it is. They both worship Moloch in that region. And here they are offering up the baby to be consumed by this, almost looks like a bull figure to me, but it doesn't have horns here, but then you go over to this one, and it does. So different cultures seem to have portrayed it in different ways, but you can see here's the entrance door where the sacrifices are supposed to go, okay? Yeah. Let's see if there's any others. Yeah, so you can see there's a lot of different representations of Moloch through history. And also, for those who seem to think so, if you go to the Bohemian Grove and look at the statue there, A lot of people believe that's a representation of Moloch, even though it looks kind of like an owl. But sometimes, as I was looking through here, I noticed there was an owl representation that went with Moloch as well. I don't see it here. Anyway, okay, so let's go on to this one. So here's the Roman Colosseum, and this one's kind of from a, I think this is from a Christian Post, so they actually displayed more of their angst about this thing showing up there, okay? A reconstruction of the terrible deity Moloch linked to the Phoenician and Carthaginian religions and featured in the 1914 film Kabira, directed by Giovanni Pastore and written by Gabriele D'Annunzio. I actually brought that film up and looked at the section where this looks like it was actually from that film set. I'll have to look really close, but I believe it was. So this is not an original, okay? But apparently it looked something like this back in the Canaanite and Phoenician times. There was one more article here talking about this exhibit, and it runs from 27 September to 29 March, which is quite interesting because it's right before the Jewish Passover when this happens, and Moloch was a sacrifice god, so I don't know about that. Anyway, okay. And then this also mentions the film Cabiria, okay. There he is again, seated there. Doesn't have his chains on his arms this time. And you can go look into who this Canaanite God Moloch was and read this. So I'll leave this link here as well, Compelling Truth. It does make many mentions to Moloch, and actually I would tell you that based on every piece of evidence that I've been able to put together, Molech is a representation of Marduk, because Marduk was Yahweh's arch enemy and was the one luring the people away. And remember in Exodus when Aaron was fashioning an idol of gold, he made a symbol of some sort of bull that represented Moloch, and that's what really upset Enlil, Yahweh, okay? So you can go back and read that. It's in Exodus 32, 20, in that region somewhere there. One of my favorite sections to see how actually 32, let's go about there to see if we can find this. Yeah, so he took the calf they made, burned it in the fire. Let's see if we can see this in context. Oh, here we go. Okay. So in this section is where that happened. So this is Exodus, where are we at? 31, we need to go to 32. There, okay. All right, and blah, blah, blah. He built an ark and made a proclamation at the feast of the Lord, okay. A molten calf, okay. So if you go back to this image early on, it kind of looked like a bull calf. I thought it did. It looked more like a, I don't know, it looked more bull to me than it did as it changed into some of these monster forms. Like here, this one, you can see it has the horns and the head and some sort of fire coming out of the top, whereas the one above here didn't. So anyway, let's go to here. I think you might find this interesting, and then I'll let you go. So I scrolled forward in this film from 1914. I found it on YouTube. It's a 2 hour and 6 minute silent film, and I haven't watched the whole thing. I just went to find the scenes where you could see this statue right here. And right before the scene started, there was this statement, "Now consummate the sacrifice in your throat of flames, blah, 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 voracious creator, roaring ardent hunger." Okay, so they're giving adulations to this. Yeah, okay, so here it is again. And you can see this one, I don't know that it really has the same markings as the one we just saw in Rome. Let's see if we can get it clear enough. But basically all these people are bowed down to this thing. This little trap door opens up, and then there's priests that station themselves on the side here and stick babies up in there. then close it, and eventually some woman and her husband sneak in and steal their baby away and cause a big ruckus and run away and hide. But I mean, every time a baby goes in, they're dancing over here. It's just. Can you imagine what you would have told the actors, the parents, and the children involved in this scene set? I'm gonna play it for you just a little bit here to get you an idea. There's no sound, so we'll just turn it on so you can see. Okay, so here they're all waving their flames at the thing. Now, I want to stop right here. You can tell that this is way bigger than the statue they just showed from another angle. And this one, they can actually walk people inside here, okay? With some crazy looking three-eyed thing with nostrils right here, like you're going into its mouth, whatever this thing is, okay? But these people are very small compared to this, and you'll see when they go back to the other shot where they're putting the babies into the trap door, it's not this, okay? So it's not even close. Film magic. So here they are, they do this priestly thing in here, okay? He gets all enamored and finally declares that I guess it's time to put the babies in the sacrificial thing. Look at all these people's faces here. It's funny how they're crossing their arms like that. I think this was kind of a partial Sumerian thing. I saw that in Sumer. Crazy outfits, okay? Everybody's all jubilant now, okay? Now notice, there's stairs right here. There's not some underground thing you walk in with all that crazy thing they were showing, so they're just playing a little trick. But here's where the little door opens, okay? And somebody over here is gonna stick a kid in there. We're only gonna do this once, but they keep doing it over and over. Oh, there's the kid acting like they're resisting it. See him right here? Okay. And I guess I'm just going to go along with it and lay here as you put me up here, because I'm not going to jump down or anything. So, but I can't even imagine what they must have told them, you know, when this was going on. It's a horrible thing to be portraying in a movie. Oh, there. Okay, that means close the door. There he goes. Okay, watch his head pop up right here like, well, am I supposed to sit up or what? All right, that's probably enough of that. But this goes on for a while. Everybody gets real jubilant. Look at the symbology here, okay? This is the winged disc of the Anunnaki, yet it's got some different crazy thing over the top. And very, very interesting, the whole symbology. So you really have to ask yourself, who is this crazy Moloch, okay? And when you go to recent history into Palmyra, Syria, you remember there was an arch there that was destroyed by quote-unquote ISIS, right? And then, lo and behold, with a little emphasis, the laser cut through 3D printing some new pieces, reconstructed the arch, and got rid of ISIS out of there. So I'm like, what's so important about an arch that belonged to Moloch in the middle of Syria for some reason? So anyway, the timing of this whole thing, of the Vatican coming out, pushing a Moloch statue into the Colosseum in a very open place, ask yourself why that would be the case, okay? Think about it. Now, I've told you that Marduk infiltrated the religion and the politics of most of the world, but concentrated on Israel and the United States. And so the idea that they've got a new embassy from the United States in Jerusalem suddenly under Trump's watch that legitimizes them as a state, even though the Balfour Declaration was no such thing, they've been emboldened to build the third temple, and all we're waiting from Revelations and Bible prophecy is the abomination of abominations to stand there on the temple and announce that they're the God of the Lord of this earth. Well, that's Marduk, and that's why this statue is being put out as a heads up to you people to go back all the way to the Canaanites and think about Cain and Abel. Okay, I'll tell you a little something out of the Lost Book of Enki if you've read that. Whether it's true or not, I'm just citing it from the book. But Cain and Abel were born of the children of the Adapa and Titi, who were children who were spawned by Enki. Okay, so one of the kids that they had that during their ability to try to show that they could procreate these offspring was two brothers, Cain and Abel. They were assigned and told that they were going to be civilized, Okay, we're going to teach them shepherding and agriculture as a couple of things that they were going to give them as skill sets. Ninurta was assigned to Abel to teach him how to farm. And Moloch was assigned to Abel to teach him how to be a herdsman. Well, you know the story from the Bible. They presented their goods to Enki, according to the story. He liked the agriculture better than the meat. Cain got pissed and killed Abel with a rock, and then he was genetically altered not to be able to grow facial hair and sent to the east to be a wanderer, even though the genetic experiment proved that they could procreate, and that was the whole point of convincing Anu to go forward with the GG minor replacement plan that they had come up with. So this has been Gerald Clark with 7 Planet Broadcasting. I just wanted to share a little bit of context with you about what just happened and what the Vatican is doing. And ask yourself, why is the Vatican involved with Moloch? Okay. Well, I'll tell you one other thing. According to a Jewish priest, I guess, I'm not sure what you call a high-level Jewish priest. Actually, they probably have different names. But one recently I listened to, his name was Irvin Finkelstein. He declared that the other name for their God, that clearly likes child sacrifice and has been this one all along, ever since he routed Enlil and got him out of Israel with the Torah Jews. They call him Lucifer. So I also did a show declaring Marduk equals Lucifer and tried to prove it to you. But now it's very, very clear. And even Finkelstein comes out and says it himself. So chew on that for a while, and if you have questions, post them here. But you guys have been asking about some Anunnaki context stuff, so here you go. Oh, by the way, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. I'm going to be live on Anunnaki History on Facebook with my bro Billy Carson and Dolly, one of the moderators on the site. So we're going to be answering questions and spitting facts real fast. I hope you guys join us. It's been Gerald Clark with 7 Planet Broadcasting, Headlines with a Brain, episode number 8, and we out.